Joining us, we have a former Commissioner of Police and the NTA Political leader, the man Gary Griffith, no stranger to the Observer. Special good evening to you, sir, and your team. How are things?
Hi, good evening to you and to your many listeners. All is well.
All is well. Well, I know things have been hectic as far as screening. Give us an idea how that has been. I mean, some of the people that has been passing through and those that you have been looking as far as selecting to represent the party in the upcoming local government elections.
Well, when you're able to get the type of support, the number of candidates who have been applying, the list is long and distinguished. They continue to come in by dozens on a daily basis, and we have been interviewing constantly. I wish to thank several members of the executive who have been conducting the interviews, going through the process, and persons have been applying throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad. Within all 14 corporations, persons have been coming in. We are almost at the end, and shortly we will be closing off, and then after we move into the next phase of the operation, which will be actual campaigning.
Now, one of the things you said as far as coming out from what the political leader of the United National Congress, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, said, is that the focus should not only be as simply as uniting parties, but uniting the nation. And you added that the country has seen too much hatred, too much division, too much victimization and intimidation over the last 8 years. Now, this is a Herculean task. I mean, trying to unite based on what you said, yet hatred, division, victimization. Now, a lot of this didn't come about overnight, so one cannot expect it to be, of course, taken care of and simply eradicated simply in a matter of a short period of time. Do you have a full-fledged plan as far as dealing with these issues? Because these are deep-rooted issues.
Yeah, no, definitely. The main plan obviously would be for the National Transformation Alliance to be in, or to be part of the next government. When I spoke about those matters of concern that it has gone wrong through the length and breadth of this country, it is based on the present regime, how they have operated. It is nothing short of dictatorship. It is virtually we're being led by a tyrant. You're hearing an individual every time he speaks. How often can you have a prime minister having a media conference, and his media conference in the office of the prime minister is always set to attack, discredit, and smear political opponents? Nothing being said has to do with trying to make the standard of living better for the citizens of this country. So he has full control of the communication system that is supposed to be used as a prime minister, and he's operating more as a political leader, attacking everyone, discrediting persons. There are certain arms of the police service being utilized to try to arrest law-abiding citizens. It has gone on for far too long, and that is where I fully understand. Being in the military, I understand who is the enemy of the state. I understand who are the persons who have caused this problem, and that virtually is targeted towards Keith Rowley. So that is where my focus is. My attention lies in trying to ensure that he is removed from office. And this local government election, I mean, you usually hear that saying, but this is going to be the mother of all local government elections, primarily one because this is the first time that a government is having a local government election by force, against their will, being forced to do so because of the court. And two, it sets a pattern that if and when Keith Rowley is defeated in this election, it will set the tone for the country to understand that the tide, it is now shifting, and persons have now agreed in the majority that it is time for him to depart.
Yeah, but I mean, again, we know Gary Griffith, the man who goes out there as far as crime, as far as dealing with things. But it seems that Gary Griffith is now every day either trying to, well, I shouldn't say extinguish fires, but basically trying to focus on what is being said by the present administration and having these rebuttals. Because when you look at something as crime, and when we go out there just like yourself, this is something that people are quick to tell us about. Listen, this crime thing is terrible. One lady in Tunapuna said, listen, I have to get home early. And we all have to get home early. We feel as though we're caged in our homes. Compounded with the fact that you have a Minister of National Security saying that there are only 3 invasion hotspots. And home invasions are decreasing in the country, except for 3 areas where there has been an increase in the last 12 months. Canupia, St. Joseph, and Barataria. But he goes on to say that the information provided by the Commissioner of Police as it relates to robberies and burglaries inside the home, called home invasions, indicated that they have not increased overall. And I think that's basically playing with words, verbal acrobatics, rather than dealing with the core issue. How many times do you hold your head a week and say, my God, I can't believe this?
Well, this is where it is that the person who is the PNM till they're dead, you have to open your eyes and really accept, is this what I want to continue to support? When it is a prime minister is offered by a previous commissioner who was instrumental in transforming the police service from being the most disliked to being the most supported of all arms in the public service, transforming the system to ensure it was the highest reduction in crime. And you offer your services at no cost to help the same prime minister. And he says, I don't care, you can go to hell, I do not want your help. And you have people applauding this. That says a lot for our society. And what they have done is continued. They have failed miserably. It has started with a Minister of National Security, I will always emphasize. The man is so clueless he doesn't even understand his role and function, which is his responsibility being to try to find policies, and he is responsible to ensure the safety and security of citizens. And we accept this, and we applaud this. And thankfully, however, the 300+ thousand who usually vote for the PNM, at least 30% would open their eyes and realize enough is enough. And what I have to do constantly is to continue to go after and expose the lies, expose the cover-ups, expose the incompetence, and I will do so. But it is not just about exposing, it is about showing to the country that we have the solutions. We have the plan, we have the people, we have the political will to transform this. The concept of Gary Griffith being instrumental or being seen as someone who can assist in reducing crime, that is just one aspect. The same way I was able to transform the police service by having a good team assembled around me and with me, it is the same way that we intend to transform every aspect in the public service. The country deserves it. The country demands it. And this is their right. It is not happening. Local government election and local government is a typical example. Are you satisfied with the services that have been provided for you through local government, through this government? And the answer is no. And if that is the case, it is time to make a change, a positive change. What the decisions that the NTA would make is designed and aligned to ensure that this government would lose this election, because that is the first step towards the NTA being government or being part of government.
Yeah, earlier this week, we were speaking earlier, our first interview was with Attorney at Law Prakash Ramada, and he was telling us, of course, looking at what took place with Justice Ricky Rhyme, when, of course, he said that the businessman, Vijay Ramai, owner of the Fun Splash Water Park, needed the permission of the commissioner to hold a one-man protest outside the Red House in early February against the government's safe zone policy in 2022, did so unlawfully. Justice went on to say it is a delicate balancing exercise that requires maturity of thought and action, of course, be the general public and the police. Now, there have been protest action when you were there as Commissioner of Police. Did you function within your discretion, recognizing that, listen, the difference between protest and what would be deemed a clear and present danger to our society?
No, definitely. And there was not one incident that I could recall where an application will be made to me and I rejected it. However, if it is that you have an assembly of persons and they are marching or they're in one area, then you require that police permission, and every time I would ensure that it is done. And it is based on ensuring that you are safe, that you are secure, that they will not be reprised by persons who may not be pleased by what it is you're doing, especially as it comes to politics. And that is what a commissioner should do. We have seen situations since I have left where these applications have been rejected. And that, again, cuts right into the heart of the concern that I have when you speak about your democratic rights being infringed, your constitutional rights saying that, listen, I am now starting to lose the right for me to protest. We are in a situation now, this is not a Patrick Manning PNM, where people were very comfortable. I remember under the Congress of the People, you could have 30,000, 40,000 people being very comfortable to go into Woodford Square to state that enough is enough, we intend to change the government. That cannot be done now. I am speaking about so many. We have tens of thousands of persons contacting us, stating that they are supporting us, but they are afraid because of repercussions, retaliation, intimidation, persecution by this government, that they may lose their job in the public sector or they may lose their business in the private sector. That is unbelievable. This has never happened before. From Eric Williams, George Chambers, A.N.R. Robinson, Bazio Pandey, Patrick Manning, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar. There's never been a situation where the leader of this country, people are mortified and say that I am afraid to voice my concern. I will voice it on election day. He would know. But I cannot come forward. I'm afraid to come forward to apply as a counselor, to be on an executive, to wear an NTA or UNC or ABC or an XYZ jersey, because I believe that I will be victimized. That is what this country has reached to now. And we have seen it. We have seen it in the Brent Thomas abduction. We have seen it with the meritless fiasco. We have seen it with the president breaking the law. And now, and even recently, look at what has just happened. We have the police service in an excited, and rightfully so, it is their right to investigate. We have the THA's chief secretary where it is alleged of an audio tape, and immediately the police rushes off to Tobago to investigate this matter in a perception of, aha, we have them. And okay, it is your right to investigate. But where is that excitement? Where after 18 months, I wrote to two commissioners of police, McDonald Jacob and Ulla Christopher, showing them, look, the evidence is here to confirm that a law was broken, because the merit list minutes of that police service commission showed that at no time did they ever withdraw the merit list. At no time did they suspend a commissioner of police. Yet Bliss Prasad did it. So Bliss Prasad broke the law, and they refused to interview Bliss Prasad. They refused to look at the minutes, and they refused to investigate, because McDonald Jacob, in his either ignorance or just deliberately working to instructions, says you cannot investigate a matter unless someone makes a report. So who made a report about the THA officials in that audio? No one did. You do not need someone to make a report. But I have now sent this information, and the police now thinks that they are operating to the instructions of politicians. That Trinidad and Tobago means that this is a police state, and so they are targeting anyone who is an opponent of the government. But when we have information and evidence to show that these politicians can and should be arrested, they are turning a blind eye. And this is where the country must say on August 14th, enough.
Yeah, many people have weighed in on the issue and saying that allegedly there's a Get Gary campaign. Let's get Gary at all costs. If we can't get him, we will try to see how best we can pin something on him. Taking that in consideration, Mr. Griffith, what does this election mean to you? The local and the upcoming general election. What does it mean to you personally?
Well, I could easily handle my story. I could take on Keith Rowley, mano a mano. This man has done everything in his power to try to discredit and attack me. And just to clarify, if Keith Rowley no longer wanted me as commissioner of police because he knew he needed a puppet that will target political opponents when he gives the commissioner money to hire attorneys to have them arrested, and you didn't want me, you could have easily said so. But you see, the day he made the mistake to try to question my integrity and to accuse me of something, and then you hire this joker called Stanley John, who after 2 years, this comedian, excuse for a citizen, decides to say that the police firearm department was a well-oiled criminal industry. And 2 years later, not one person has even been questioned as it pertains to white-collar crime and corruption and bribery. So it shows how ignorant this Mr. John was. And then you hire 3 jokers again, call them an audit committee, you hire them, you pay them big money, they then didn't have the common sense to speak to the person who was in charge of the organization, and you did an audit, and the court had to block you and tell you, you cannot go in Parliament, because you know Parliament is the one place you can lie, just like he did an email gate, and not have to pay the price for it. So Keith Rowley has done everything under the sun to target me. He has failed miserably. He has lost. It has been exposed. He has tried everything, all of these lies, in an attempt to try to discredit me. And it has backfired. But this is not about me. My point is, today it is Gary Griffith. Tomorrow could be any one of you all listening on this show tonight, that you could be targeted. You are the person who can be the person that That could be the person that the government will decide to utilize police resources. Have you arrested? Have you been in Barbados? Have you abducted? Because, as I said, there's no way that the police could have left Trinidad and Tobago to go to Barbados to abduct a citizen unless the government approved, because no police officer can leave our shores without authorization and approval from the government. How do I know that? I was the Minister of National Security, so I'm fully aware. So the government has lied about the Brent Thomas abduction. They lied about closing down Petrotrin. They lied about property tax. We have an Attorney General who continues to make lies and then say he made a mistake. Every time they lose a case, he lies and say they won a case. That is the situation of this government, and it shows once and for all that we need to make a stand on August the 14th. Again, I want to re-emphasize and telling Keith Rowley enough.
Enough is enough. Final question to you here. You did mention, of course, that too much division in this country. Is the NTA going to be guided with a code of conduct? Because too many times the issues seem to be sidelined and it becomes personal as far as race baiting and ethnic division among us. Is the NTA going to be guided along the lines of not getting down into the mud when it comes to campaigning and getting their message out?
Oh, definitely. I mean, and it started with the PNM. They will never stop. Two persons who are, they work directly for the PNM. They never say anything incorrect or ill about the PNM on a radio station. They contacted me and I knew what they were planning. 27 questions from the most ridiculous things about if I still have a diplomatic passport and everything in an effort to try to discredit me. I expected it. I embarrassed them. I exposed the ignorance, the corruption of the PNM as it pertains to OPVs, blimps, SOT, FULs, everything. They fell and they got into quicksand. And that is what they will do. I will defend to expose and clarify their incompetence and wrongdoing, but we have no intention to go into the gutter like them. Our job is to try to show that we have the solutions. We know what can be done to make your standard of living better. And that is what, so we are looking for those people who will vote for us to understand, I want to vote for a party and people who are not into the gutter, who don't spend all their time trying to discredit, destroy, and attack and divide. We are here to unite, to build, to be productive, and to provide a delivery to citizens of this great country.
Thank you so much, Mr. Griffith. All the best to you and your team. Good luck. And we'll be talking, of course, periodically throughout this campaign. Thank you so much.